Hello and welcome to this Britannia Season 1 Episode 2 review. Now, with this episode, I found it was a nice improvement on the previous episode. Obviously, last episode was a little bit of setting up, getting some of the characters so you can actually recognise them as we go further along. But in this episode, I found there was more development for the characters. We learned some more backstory so we can understand some motivations and some backstories on some of the tribes, the Celtic tribes, why they particularly hate each other compared to the previous Roman invasion where they've been pushed out of Britannia, while this time they were to march in, set up a base, obviously not in a way that they can just basically steamroll the whole country, but they're in a pretty good position, at least to start off with. So we get Queen Antida, I'm not sure, played by Zoe Wanamaker, who I thought only saw a little bit of her in the previous episode, but in this episode we get a good glimpse at her and we see more of her motivation for revenge and working with the Romans. Obviously you can't necessarily say that was going to work out for her because, as we eventually know, that eventually Romans will eventually take over the whole of, England. But it's nice to see how the Romans are basically trying to find out, use these Celtic tribes against each other. Obviously, King Pellinor, who I didn't actually realise was played by Ian McDiarmid, who played Palpatine in the Star Wars films, which I was like, okay, I did not recognise him at all in this. Looks completely different to what I expect him to look like. But I thought, yeah, they're doing a good job. But perhaps our main character, Kara, from the Celtic tribe, I'm not exactly sure the names of the Celtic tribes as such, I'll probably get them as I go further along. But I did like the part where they got a bit of Roman blood in her, because obviously, in the previous 90 years, the Romans had come in, and they must have tried to mingle until they were properly pushed out, so still some probably Roman stragglers or some interbreeding was going on back then. So that was quite nice to see. But I think also, even with all these problems going on, the Romans come in, disrupting these Celtic tribes, they're still fighting each other, still trying to get revenge, because they're still driven by that more than preservation, really. Perhaps more so with Queen Antida. I'm probably, I feel I'm pronouncing it that completely wrong. But anyway, I particularly like some of the parts where the little Roman soldiers, who they were still thinking about mutinying, and there are little interactions here and there, and they're whinging about they're having to look after the general when he's going off to do his bits and pieces, his own little story, subplot, I would say. And then, yeah, there was a pretty good fight scene towards the end, which I thought, some would say perhaps it's not so good, but I did like how it was a bit of surprise, and there's some good choreography and some good fighting there, which I enjoyed quite a bit. So I would say overall, this second episode was a good improvement on the previous episode. Hopefully I can keep going like this, keep a good pace, because obviously there's only 10 episodes, so it shouldn't be long until it's done, really. But yeah, it's quite nice to see this sort of show. I mean, I don't know how it compares to Vikings Season 1 back in the day. Perhaps the characters aren't quite as charismatic as a Ragnar or Travis Fimmel for that show, but I think they're doing a good job as it is. So that'll do for now. So thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.